Hello again. We're continuing our discussion of Chapter 1, Section 1. And the first question that we might ask in this second part is, let's give a definition of what it means for two numbers to be opposite. What do we mean by the word opposite in mathematics? We do have to be very careful with the way that we use words. Well, in this case, if we want to discuss what we mean by opposite, we're saying that two numbers are going to be opposite. So two numbers will be opposite if what? Well, they're going to be opposite if they have the same numerical value but are opposite in sign. So what does that mean to us? Well, for two numbers to be opposite, that means that, for example, if we were to look at them on the number line, we would see that they have the same numerical value, but on opposite sides of the origin. So if we go out to positive 6 along our number line, then its opposite will be the same distance away from 0 in the opposite direction. So the opposite number to negative 6, to positive 6, is negative 6. On the other hand, if we said negative 51, well, I'm not going to draw out the entire number line for that one, but because negative 51 is an opposite, to make a number into its opposite sign, well, all we would really have to do is take its negative. So we're going to take the negative of negative 51, and so our opposite would be positive 51. Notice that with positive numbers like this, we don't typically put a plus sign in front of that number. Plus 51 is always indicated as just 51 itself, so you won't see that particular setup. Which brings us to the notion of absolute values. What is an absolute value? An absolute value is a number that gives a positive value whenever a number is enclosed in those brackets, right? So if you think about some number that we put inside of a couple of straight brackets like that, that is what we indicate as absolute value. So how do we find that? Well, an absolute value is going to be a positive value. Always, we result in a positive value. So if the number a is already positive, then taking the absolute value of that number a just results in itself. On the other hand, if the number a is negative, then what do? Well, we take its opposite. We would say that the absolute value of that number a is equal to the negative of the original. For example, right here, a, we have the absolute value of negative 5. Well, when we say its absolute value, remember we've got a negative number inside of the brackets, which means we want the opposite of negative 5. So the negative of negative 5 is the result of that, and that gives us positive 5. Now, we can have situations where we have signs outside of that absolute value bracket. We keep those signs. So if I say the negative of the absolute value of negative 9, what I really mean is the negative of positive 9, right? Remember, that is because whenever we take that absolute value of negative 9, we're getting the opposite of that number like we did in part A right here. So we're taking the negative of negative 9, its opposite, which is positive 9. And so when I see the negative of the absolute value of negative 9, that's just negative 9 itself. Okay, that's it. Good luck.